If you are a coaster enthusiast and happen to find yourself in Kentucky looking for coasters and trying to find a water park, then look no further than Kentucky Kingdom in Hurricane Bay, a very small park with big thrills found in their full-size water park with a great selection of slides, and their incredibly diverse amusement park, which is home to 2 world-class coasters and some solid supporting coasters. This park was on my bucket list for a long time, and we finally got to visit it this June. So today, we will be reviewing this surprisingly good park and telling you the ups and downs of Kentucky Kingdom. To make this video easier to edit, we will split it into multiple segments, which will be rides and slides, operations, staff, and the park in general. But I first want to do a little bit of talking about this park's water area. As you can tell from the name, Kentucky Kingdom in Hurricane Bay, there is both a water park and an amusement park, all in one. And unlike some parks, you can enter the water park with general admission, which is a huge plus, because for parks like Kings Island, most people enter the park and the main goal is to go to the amusement park, and the water park is more of an add-on. But for Kentucky Kingdom, I actually found the water park to be a bit busier than the dry side. And another thing that this place does differently than your average park is the fact that they have a water park and amusement park merged and not in separate areas. So you'll honestly have to walk through and go past a couple slides to get to rides like Kentucky Flyer. But enough about how unique this place is. Let's get into the slides this water park has. Hurricane Bay is home to many water slides, ranging from family raft slides to one of the largest slides on the planet. When we took our visit, we spent a good amount of time in the water park, and some of the highlights were the massive wave pool with decently sized waves, the lazy river, which lets you go around multiple times and had some good water features, and of course the slides. One thing that I really don't like though, or more so I find odd, is the massive leap this park's lineup takes in slides. What I mean by this is most of their slides are family oriented, except for maybe Tornado, their toilet bowl slide. But standing above all the other family slides is the 9th tallest water slide in the entire world, and this is Deepwater Dive. And this thing takes the idea of a trapdoor slide and just pushes it to insanity. It stands 121 feet tall and has a 70-degree drop, which may not sound impressive, but when you are on this, it feels like you are plummeting straight down, and it is absolutely terrifying. Sadly, they have recently closed their water coaster Deluge, which probably would have been my favorite. But I guess I'll have to rely on Holiday World for my water coasters. Mammoth, here I come. And overall, I think this water park has a good atmosphere, and all the slides are great for families. Except for the big one. So in conclusion, it would be nice if there were more slides, but the ones they have are still good. So I give them a 7 out of 10. While we just talked about the incredible water slides this park has, its collection of coasters and flat rides are still top tier for such a small park. They have your standard rides, such as their drop tower, shoot the chute water ride, and other iconic flat rides. And while there aren't many to choose from, their coasters are great, and they have an overall very solid lineup with one of the best 1-2 punches out there for their top 2. But let's start off with the supporting attractions. Roller Skater is the park's Vekoma Junior coaster, which is perfect for kids, and has the greatest trains of all time. Then we have the park's Family Gravity Group, which I absolutely adore. The airtime on this is super strong and surprised me so much, and now I finally understand how the Gravity Group runs, and I gotta say, Voyage just skyrocketed up my bucket list. This was surprisingly my 3rd favorite coaster in the park, and it gives kids their first look at ejector airtime while only going around 30 feet in the air. This park is also home to a Din Corporation wooden coaster, Thunder Run, which is fairly rough, but it's not migraine-inducing, and has some pretty strong ejector airtime and laterals. And of course, we have the world-class, elite, 1-2 punch top 2. Twisted Timbers and wrong park. The top 2. Lightning Run and Storm Chaser. These 2 rides are absolutely incredible, and both have some insane ejector airtime and crazy whip throughout their courses. Lightning Run is a Chance Hyper GTX model, and is one of a kind. For now. And like I said, it has crazy ejector airtime, and it's criminal how there aren't any more of these built. For now. Then we have my personal favorite in the park, the small-scale RMC Storm Chaser, which has some of the strongest and most sustained ejector you can find. I literally had to take a break from riding this, because my thighs were burning from that sweet, sweet airtime. So in total, the top 2 carry the park, but that's enough for me to give the flat rides and coasters an 8 out of 10. Here is where we start to get into the bad, or dare I say terrible part of Kentucky Kingdom, the operations. When we went on a cloudy Tuesday and pulled up to the park, we thought all the rides were down. And we sat there for 5 minutes watching lightning run, not send out a single train, and we were terrified that it was closed. But little did we know, it wasn't closed, it just had god-awful operations. Every single coaster in the park was running on one train, when they had the option of 2, except for Thunder Run. And it made a really big impact when you were waiting in line. I'm going to talk about Lightning Run again, since it's the biggest coaster and you can see it from the front of the park, it gets the longest line. But since it was a cloudy weekday, the line was only up to the stairs heading into the station, and I thought it was going to be about a 5-minute wait, but we ended up waiting almost 15 minutes for this. And for the other coasters, it was exactly the same. I guess Storm Chaser had okay operations, but I think that if you're going to run one train, you should at least have good ops. And if you're going to have bad ops, then you should at least have 2 trains. So yeah, this park had terrible operations, and I don't see that fact changing anytime soon. So I give them a 2 out of 10. Sorry, Kentucky Kingdom. Here's another thing that was kind of hard to rank, because some of the staff here were nice, mainly the water slide operators, but some were kind of rude and stapled us into oblivion, which I know should technically be part of the operations, but I'm just going to talk about it here. It was mainly just the staff of Storm Chaser, but that made it even worse considering it was the best ride in the park and is focused on airtime. I genuinely think that the ops had a hatred for enthusiasts because they really pushed that lap bar down on us and it made the ride experience less exciting and aggressive. But like I said, the water park employees were very nice, and so were the Kentucky Flyer ops, so props to them, I guess. One thing I would like to point out though is that it's not the employees' fault, it's just one of the rules, but they wouldn't let us go again on Kentucky Flyer when there was clearly no one else in line, and we had to walk all the way around to get re-rides. But again, not the employees' fault. With all this being said, I am going to give the employees of Kentucky Kingdom a dead center 5 out of 10. Now we are going to get very broad with just the park, and this is basically me just wanting to talk about some minor things that don't really fit into any categories. Let's begin. I want to start off talking about the restraints, and while Kentucky Flyer, Thunder Run, and heck, even Roller Skater have normal restraints, the ones on Storm Chaser and Lightning Run, the top 2, look fine until you get on and realize how heavy these things are. I literally thought my restraint was locked because I always check, and then I realized it's just that heavy. I don't know if they need to grease them up or outright replace them, but Kentucky Kingdom, please fix this. Next up is the park layout. If you look at a map, you can see that this park is not ordinary at all. A road splits the park in 2, and while I thought this would annoy me, it's actually not that bad, and I found it fairly easy to get from one side of the park to the other. It's also freakishly close to an airport, and it's kind of cool to see airplanes flying really close to you, on Storm Chaser specifically. Now we have the food, and this is a Hershey park. They have the glorious cinnamon bread. What else needs to be said? I also want to mention that if you go on a not so busy day, the front of the park feels deserted. It has a weird atmosphere. But once you go to the back of the park, it's popping and has an overall cheerful vibe, and it's very enjoyable. One thing that is not enjoyable, however, is entering the park. They only had 2 booths open to scan tickets, and while this wasn't a problem during my visit, I couldn't imagine what would it be like on a Sunday, because they only have a maximum of 4 booths they can open, and every time you scan a ticket, it plays this annoying Clash Royale style fanfare, and I honestly feel bad that the employees have to listen to this all day. But that's all the ranting I'm gonna do. In total, our visit to Kentucky Kingdom was fun and very enjoyable, and while it had its ups and downs, it was overall a very nice experience. And I can see myself revisiting this park very soon. So, totaling up all the scores, this park gets an overall 8 out of 10. But if you have been around and disagree with anything I've said so far, be sure to drop a comment. And while you're down there, we appreciate a like and subscribe to help grow our small channel. So thanks so much for watching, and we will see you later. Peace!